My name is Daryl.
My name is Robert.
And we've seen 28 Days Later. Cillian Murphy wakes up to the worst hangover ever from a 4-week edible nap to find his hair replacement surgery was botched, and everyone has to come to a certain flu, which will not be mentioned on our podcast. Thankfully, 2 other people in London exist as lucid, decently healthy human beings and tell him what is impossible for him to glean with his own eyes. Infected poo-poo has hit the fan. Cillian and the perpetually pissed Naomi Harris, will they and won't they, all the way to Mad-Eyed Moody and his young daughter, eventually deciding that this zombie apocalypse is nothing a good old-fashioned road trip montage can't fix. They fall into the clutches of really horny soldiers and live happily ever after.
Doubt it. All right.
True.
28 Days Later is not just a zombie movie. It's an angry zombie movie. And it made me angry as I watched it. If you dislike activists, I got some good news. They caused the end of the world. You would think seeing Cillian Murphy's dick would get you in the mood, but you would be disappointed by the movie and his peach. You could tell the movie's inspired by Resident Evil by the odd camera angles and the inverted controls that was the editing room for this film. 28 Days Later is a road trip movie.
That's how you feel.
That's
how you feel. I live to see that on a t-shirt one day. And not getting ahead of ourselves, just seeing merch of you saying 28 Days Later is a road trip movie. What's the actual synopsis? So, 4 weeks after a mysterious, incurable virus spreads throughout the UK, a handful of survivors try to find sanctuary. That's basically what the movie is about.
It really doesn't. You know what? That's a good synopsis for the movie because I feel like the movie doesn't know what it wants to be, and that's my beef with the movie.
Identity crisis, yeah.
But before we get into that,
so we thought it'd be funny because the movie starts out. And this is a trope that we've seen in other zombie movies too, but
at this point, it's like an obvious trope that like when you see it, you're like, oh, I've seen this before.
Cillian Murphy wakes up in the hospital in the middle of a zombie apocalypse after having been in a coma for quite a bit.
X amount of time. Yeah,
and he's like, dude, what the hell? He was just obviously in some kind of surgery. He has a scar on his head, which is definitely a nod to zombies, right, with the brain thing. We were talking about that. Where would it be funny to find ourselves in the middle of a zombie apocalypse? It wouldn't be London probably, or maybe it would be. But like if it was you or I, where the hell would we wake up?
I'm letting you know it's going to be the exact same place I found out that Michael Jackson was dead. It's going to be in Coney Island. It's going to be in Coney Island. It's going to be on the benches on the boardwalk. And it's going to be a problem.
Somebody shouted it.
To die.
So there was just a scream on the boardwalk. Oh, Michael Jackson!
Because
I can see that.
Some kid got eaten.
Yikes.
And it's mayhem. That's where it's going to happen.
Yikes. That's kind of what happens in the movie, too. It's just weird kind of shit like that. People getting eaten. Chimpanzees, Michael Jackson.
They always, I feel like every zombie movie always has that shot of just like a Ferris wheel. Just a desolate Ferris wheel. Just empty. That's where I'm going to be, and I'm going to die.
You're going to be in the Ferris wheel.
Nobody's ever alive there. The character always goes to the Ferris wheel,
right? And
it's surrounded by the people who are there.
Right. I was thinking about how there have been times, I won't incriminate you, but we have been, or I have been, just in the old days, just kind of like 3 a.m, 4 a.m. in the Bronx, like, what the hell, dude? Just on a little bit of a, in my cups, as it were, just waking up somewhere like, shit, boy, I keep going to the Bronx for some reason. I think this scenario in the Bronx would be really terrifying. The thing about this movie is that it's like...
It's because we've seen The Warriors recently. You're just like, the Bronx.
No, I was actually thinking about being asleep drunk on the train and waking up in the Bronx or something like that. And that being, like, not only am I there and I'm thinking worst case scenario or whatever, because I'm obviously not in the best state, but also zombies now, that'd be crazy.
So you're at the Bronx. You're there.
I'm in the Bronx.
Where are you in the Bronx?
4 a.m.
Do you know specifically?
Hell no, of course. I don't know the Bronx like that.
Do you know
I couldn't name a single stop in the Bronx.
You can't name one stop?
I don't think I could name a single stop. I could guess 228th Street. That's probably a stop.
What train were you on?
You know what? I'll give you this. I'll be right by Yankee Stadium.
Okay, you're by Yankee
Off the D train. Last stop. I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Okay, so where are you going?
Pretty sure.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Yankee Stadium.
So you're in the Bronx.
Oh, we're talking
and you're
about
going to Yankee Stadium.
We're talking about Where were we going?
Okay, okay. Somebody just died in front of you. Somehow you made it. You're running.
Yeah.
The guy with calf implants just got murked.
Calf implants.
You're out. You're running. Where are you going? What are you thinking?
I'm going to Sunset. I'm thinking. I feel like the most.
You're going back to Brooklyn.
Is going to see what's good with my mom and my brother. This seems like to be like sort of like a no-brainer. And also just in Brooklyn, now you have, okay, well, I'm going to see what you're up to. I'm going to see what the homies are up to, you know, make sure everybody's straight. And then at that point, see, I'm thinking sensibly, and I could easily be thinking funny, but I guess, no, it makes sense. Sensibly, what would you do in a situation like this? I will be that. So then we would see, okay, y'all going to do your thing. Okay, fine. Well, we're going to hold up in, shit, I don't fucking know, the woods or something. We're going upstate New York. My mom drives. Upstate New York or some shit. New York's big.
It's true.
Just go to the, I don't know, man. Hit a Walmart. Boom, now you're fighting in the Walmart because they're definitely going to be wilding out in that Walmart. The baby shooting people. Imagine zombies.
Yeah, that parking lot's going to be a mess.
The parking lot's going to be crazy.
We
might need to hit a couple of homies, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
We put them out of their misery, though. Assemble a team of people, real people. They could be fictional, maybe too. What kind of people do you want helping you in the apocalypse? A crew, a nice tight crew. There's a group of 4 here. There's a central group of 4. I feel like, right? So maybe 3 other people. Reese and Gleason, something like that. Count that out.
So we have Jim. Did we call him Tim? We kept calling him Tim.
Isn't it?
It is Jim.
Oh, I did see. I said Jim, but we figured because he has like an Irish accent that maybe
he was saying Tim.
Just giving him. It did sound like it. Yeah.
Okay, so we end up meeting Frank, who is Mad-Eye Moody, and his daughter, right? And that's essentially the crew. So who's going to be my 28 Days Later crew?
It's a fantasy scenario.
This is a fantasy scenario. Okay, so...
Weird thing to fantasize about, but...
No, so I'm going to give them... So I'm kind of doing like a recast, but not really a recast. Because I don't want these people in these roles. But it would be fun to have these people as
if you were in your apocalypse situation, who would be the people you would hope, like if you could just like genie wish any of these people, they would help me survive?
Look, like I said, I was in Coney Island when this happened, when the outback occurred.
That's also a scary
place.
When the
outback occurred.
Yeah. Boy, hungry. I feel you.
When the outbreak occurred. And it just so happened that Sabrina Carpenter was at the stadium that's in Coney Island performing. I end up meeting up with Sabrina Carpenter. She's going to be my Hannah, right? She's going to be my Frank's daughter.
I know what you got in mind.
All right.
Go on.
Nah, my Selena. Who's going to be my Selena? My
Selena.
Damn.
You want to sue for that?
Who's a good Selena? Because Selena,
the singer,
for the lack of a better word, is spicy. And I know you don't want to describe a female as spicy.
She's spicy. I'm fine with describing a female as spicy, but yeah, I know what you mean.
But this character is hot-headed.
Sure.
And who's a good hothead?
Uh-oh.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Interesting. I do like that.
Michelle Rodriguez is going to be my Selena. We have Sabrina Carpenter as my Hannah. And my Frank, who's going to be my Frank? My Frank is going to be Jack Black.
Got you.
Because he's doing some type of TikTok thing with Sabrina at the same time.
I like that. I see that you went more like basing it off those people and those roles.
Because I just wanted to have like a group of 3.
That kind of dynamic.
And in this type of situation.
Got you. No, I like that an amount of people, but I'm thinking like just... Look, I mean, like, let me get motherfucking... Ah, man, who did you just have in mind that's like a super survivalist dude?
You want like Bear Grylls?
Like Bear Grylls is the guy who I was thinking. Bear Grylls. What's up, Bear Grylls?
Crocodile Dundee?
Maybe Crocodile Dundee. Oh, scratch that. Steve Irwin.
He died.
Bring him back from the dead. Maybe this virus has affected in such a way that I can actually bring him back and the homies on the squad. We don't know. For the sake of this, we're saying that. Macho Man Randy Savage, just cuz. You know what? Maybe just for morale. You know, he might just get the homies hype. because you got to deal with some shit, you know. I want somebody to shoot. Okay, from the movie Prey, which was the more recent Predator movie, Native American actress that she was just in.
I know the face. I can see the face. I don't know the name.
Her character in Prey, though, Amber Midthunder, which is a sick name.
What's her name?
Amber Midthunder.
Amber Midthunder is fire.
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
So that's going to be the squad.
That's a really cool name.
Yeah, and that's how we rocking. I believe we will be right back with some more for y'all.
Your team is better.
Stay tuned. All right, so 28 days later, I feel like we've been itching to do a certain thing with it. We've been itching to praise this movie.
Yeah, actually, no, but seriously though, like, all right. So, spoiler alert: we both don't like this movie.
Yeah, it's no good.
But I feel like we both came from a place of thinking that we did like this movie.
Yeah. There's a reason for that. I think I did like it when I first saw it. I had already saw the second one, so I was bought into the premise. And I guess I convinced myself that I liked the first one when I saw it, or maybe I did then. You know, it happens sometimes in movies. But I don't know. I really don't know this time around.
Yeah, maybe this movie didn't age well.
Yeah. I mean, we have specific complaints about it, though. So the thing is, it's not like just a random drop. Like, what are some of the things that let's just air it out.
All right.
What do you don't like about it?
So one of the things that I realized immediately about it was that it was influenced by Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But it was all the bad things of the original Resident Evil game that was reminding me of the movie.
Right.
It wasn't
things you didn't like about it to begin with.
It was nothing that was good about Resident Evil that was like groundbreaking at the time when it came out. It was, but you know what? It is. Like, I'm gonna go back. It had elements of it too, though, throughout the whole film of like kind of like that indie, rugged, like dirty zombie.
It was dirty.
Movie.
It was like the film quality was definitely like sort of less. Like I can't really describe it technically.
No, just like it was indie, but it just was like it just wasn't. It wasn't good because of the angles that they decided to shoot. A lot of times, he was in love with transitions that just had to do with just the car going on a like it's I feel like you can go back to this movie and I think every scene gets transitioned. Every new environment is transitioned by a car scene.
Yeah, that might be a trope that he was going for. The guy Danny Boyle. Danny Boyle, by the way, great director. We were saying yesterday, like it's so interesting that if you had to show somebody, I'm like, yo, Danny Boyle is a great director. I love his work. Alex Garland is a great writer and director. Love his work. But if you were to see this movie, it's not really the best example of that. You know, and I think
it's a really good. It made me laugh when you said that off camera, and it makes so much sense now.
There's certain things about like the inconsistencies we were talking about yesterday. Like there are too many glaring ones, and part of you wants to not be a stickler, at least for myself, too much when you're watching something. You don't want to pull the threads, but zombie movies, that general structure is so simple, in my opinion, to kind of like hit the beats, that to mess up some of these things, you sort of like pushing it a little bit, you know? And we also said like this movie has like two different movies going on in once. Like it has two different vibes that it doesn't commit to. One of it is like a campy zombie B movie where you're allowed to do any kind of weird mistake. You know, I was saying like you will see a zombie breathing or something, right? But also it also has that like sort of BBC like British movie serious overtone that makes it, you know, difficult when there is an inconsistency. Like what were some of the weird shits that?
Okay, one of the things that I think is like a classic scene in 28 Days Later that has an inconsistency is the whole changing of the tire scene. Right. It's one of the best scenes in the actual movie because it has like the whole suspense. You know, there's a danger coming. They just had like this weird like action sequence that ruined the whole car. Right. And there's zombies coming. They have to change the car. They need to go. And then they have all that anxiety driven up, all that suspense. They get into the car, they get away. And then at the end of the scene, for whatever reason, the zombies just give up on their chase. Yeah. And if it's obvious, if they kept it in. So they saw that and they were like, yes. but it just takes you out of it. It takes you out of the situation because what it looks like is that it's a bunch of extras that just heard cut and they stopped running. It doesn't look like it's part of the biology of these monsters that they created.
Right.
And that's what ruins it for me.
And you also mentioned something about that part. You also mentioned something that I realized that in all zombie movies that you either go science or you go supernatural, right?
Yeah.
In general, how the fuck is it that zombies are dead, but they can see, smell, sense, hear, all that shit? They need to eat, like they're able to, it makes, so you go supernatural with something like that, right? But this one is science-based. They have actually, their shit is, these guys are, I guess, basically still alive, but they're just kind of rabid, right? Like,
well, he's influenced by two different sectors, right? He's influenced by Romero, who went the supernatural route, right? Where like people in cemeteries are coming out of their grave and coming up, right? That's not scientific. That's like a spell happened somehow, right?
Yeah,
and
then spooky monster shit.
And then he's influenced by Resident Evil, who is more virus based, and like an outbreak occurred and is causing like this weird mutation,
which makes sense. Yeah,
and he kind of blended the two, where it's not so much the undead, but this like rabies of man.
Right. Oh, and now that you mentioned that, this movie does a lot of allegory, or just in general, just kind of portrays society, like what it looks like when it breaks down, what structures break down. The institutions that are supposed to keep you safe, how they fail, But right at the beginning of the movie, it starts with footage, and I'm not sure if it's real or not, but it does look real. But you could easily recreate that of just like protests, like violent protests in all different parts of the country. A lot of violence, from the cops or the military forces there against the protesters. Just weird, actual real life examples of society breaking down and reverting to this sort of like animalistic, really like a feral place. So it leads you right into this kind of like, it makes the kind of zombie shit not seem that crazy,
Yeah.
And it makes it seem like, yeah, of course, this is exactly what would happen. Like, this is exactly how fast it would move. And there's a military force at the end that immediately these people who should be keeping people safe during this time are letting people come through, but they're really just taking advantage of them,
That's another
plundering, raping,
that I don't like when we introduce to the military people.
Right.
So, like, I believe the whole title of 28 Days Later is that our character, Jim, wakes up 28 days later after the outbreak, after everything's happened. So it's a month.
By the way, just so you know, we were thinking about that without realizing the title shift for way too long yesterday watching the movie. And you're totally... Anyway.
So he wakes up out of the coma 28 days later, right? So that's cool. There's a whole bunch of events that occur. And when we end up meeting the military people, he references that it's only been a month.
Right.
Impossible.
Right.
I call BS.
February.
It had to have been...
His whole shit, just right there, February. Yes.
It had to have been over a month.
Since
he woke up, since he met, what are their faces? Since he met,
you're saying
Selena,
the entire span of the movie.
Yeah,
like, the entire span is longer than a month.
By the time he meets the military people, at least he meets Selena and the white guy that she ends up chopping up. By the way, that was a cool scene.
Right.
And
Had
then
to happen.
He ends up meeting Frank and Hannah, and they stay there. I don't know how many days, but they stay there for a little bit before they hear the radio broadcast that the military lured them into. That you end up finding out.
Right.
And then they have to travel at least a couple days to where the signal is coming from.
I think just days, though. I think just a matter of days.
So you think like 6 weeks?
I think it's
been 6 weeks.
The timeline of the movie is just a matter of days. Not 6 weeks. I'm telling you, like a week.
It's been 36 days. It's been.
Well, 28 days later is the time that he was in a coma.
No, I don't think he was in the coma for 28 days. I think.
28 days later, he wakes up. Oh, right. You're saying
he wakes up.
Potentially, the virus already has started.
Of course it started. The whole place is abandoned. He wakes up 28 days later after the outbreak. So it took a month for the whole world to go to shit.
Right.
And then there's an inconsistency where the guy references that it's only been a month. Maybe?
No, I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Oh, you
First of all, I don't care about this little detail that much to harp on.
Yeah, because there's also there's other glaring inconsistencies. Yeah, but and fine, and maybe they shouldn't be that annoying, but also just in general, the film relies so much on just
the blood drop that happened to fall into his eye.
Yeah, the homie just catches an errant blood drop that just falls off of some guy. He didn't see there was no puddle or whatever. But yeah, like you said, we could harp on these fools a bunch, but the main thing is, was it an entertaining movie? Did I want to follow these guys on their journey from the big ass structure building they were living in to this military place?
Did I need to see Cillian Murphy's dick?
Did we need to see Cillian Murphy's dick? But
I mean, I get
he was Jesus in the beginning. There was a shot that he was definitely Jesus in the
I get the symbolism. He's vulnerable. He's reborn. He's reawakened. Like I get like
he's potentially a savior to these people, but not really. He didn't really help very much.
No, he was
helped.
He saw a lot of people die. Oh, that's also another thing. First of all, he's like some like feeble, just came out of surgery. Not came out of surgery, came out of a coma.
Right.
They give no back. This is one of the things that I was complaining to you when we were watching it.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, they're giving no background. Like, I want to know a little bit about this guy. You're not going to tell me why he was in the coma. You're not going to tell me why all of a sudden at the end of the movie he has military skills. He ends up killing multiple military men out of nowhere.
Armed guys. I mean, maybe they're a little too horny. Maybe they're a little too drunk. These guys are drinking old scotch. These guys are out of their minds. Out of their minds.
Sure.
No, I'm with you. I will say
they just portray him as feeble and needing to be protected, and then you can say, sure, character growth, but like they didn't even show.
I say adrenaline.
They didn't even show him developing like these skills. They really just showed him running away from one zombie to the next.
When you say skills, I guess when you put it that way, in my brain, they weren't trying to show him having skills. They were trying to show him having fight or flight, like crazy adrenaline / rage, and that manifested in the energy and power he had. Now the skills, that's maybe just an oversight, like on the maybe I didn't feel that much. I also I respect your shit about the not giving us all the information. I didn't even mind that, to be honest with you. I think to me is if you can make me care about following these guys and their family and the way they build conversations and relationships with each other, the dialogue. If you can make me like those things, then you can do whatever the fuck you want with any of these inconsistencies. To me, they all fell flat. The little relationships, the characters, the dialogue.
That's because I feel like they were making symbolic choices with things where like they were showing like his rage comparing to like the rage virus and how like I get the symbolic and the metaphorical reasoning, but I feel like the reason why it fell flat is because they gave no foundation for those metaphors to stand on. Yeah, it's like if you want to do the shit that I'm saying that I like, you need to be able to justify it. Yeah, 100%. Otherwise, do what you're saying, which is give me the info because that's interesting. Yeah. No, that's the balance, and whether or not they did it here, I don't know. They were good actors, though. Like the acting was not the issue for me.
The acting was good.
Film. Also, like even the little girl, like. They got like top-notch actors. Like maybe they weren't big names at this time. I'm not really sure how famous people were in 2002.
Right.
Like 2002 was a long time ago. Right. That's 23 years now.
No, I'm sure they were more or less decently known. I think they were pretty. Yeah. I think for Cillian, this is probably an early one. But also there were a lot of redeemable things about this movie.
Well, the thing is that we don't like this movie, but guess what? It did not flop.
No, yeah.
The budget $8 million, box office $84 million.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. I wish I was there. I only went to see the second one, which I did enjoy, and then I went back to see the first one. A lot of crazy. For every bad shot, I feel like there was also one that I was really impressed with.
It was an experimental film, so they did a lot of good things, but a lot of stale things, and also
to me, mostly story-wise.
Yeah, tropey.
I know you didn't like a bunch of the editing. I didn't mind as much of that, but to me, just. I didn't give enough shit about the story to, deal with the tropes, deal with the inconsistencies, deal with the strange, a lot of Dutch angles. I'm not a huge fan of Dutch angles. There was a lot of Dutch angles, which is when your shit is like kind of skewed.
Yeah. The thing about like like a Dutch angle in the zombie environment. It's like a Dutch angle is supposed to express like uneasiness, like we're off balance, like
Right.
That type of thing. But like you're always like
Right.
it's not really adding any like like the viewer should know where they're at.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm gonna suggest we forego recast.
Okay.
I feel like we don't have to do it every episode. A. B. This shit is about to die.
Let's give it a score. All right, I'm going low because, to be honest with you, I'm a big fan.
I'm excited to do that.
I'm a big fan of horror. And I don't know why I had it in my mind that this was somehow like an influential, like
right.
pushing forward.
Right.
When it was very tropey, it was very stale. Other things that came after it did it better. I looked it up because I was just like, this thing reminded me so much of The Walking Dead. This came out in 2002. The Walking Dead comic came out in 2003. So they both had the same idea at the same time, essentially.
Well, some of the things in Walking Dead, like actual shots and like music cues, seem obviously very influenced by this movie.
But I would think so.
Because, well, yeah, I mean, it's
because think about how long a movie takes, and think about how long a whole idea of a comic takes, and to get those things get those things published and stuff. So the ideas were already finished.
I would say though the ideas are not the same though. Anyway, it's more like the TV show had things that.
But I feel
like you said the hospital thing.
Yeah, I feel like they did the whole waking up out of a coma in a hospital. That's a big fact. Way better.
That's a big fact. I think the biggest movie.
They made the protagonist being interesting. They made you care about you don't care about Cillian Murphy in this movie at all. Yeah. You don't care about Selena. She's a bitch throughout the whole movie for no reason.
She has immaculate hair like that you would need like product for or something like that, like just at all times. I think the biggest thing this thing stole from was the Thriller video. I'm kidding, obviously, but that's a legendary zombie movie. I don't know. This movie was okay. There was a lot of cool zombie effects. There was a lot of cool shots of like the red eyes and the weird shit. I like the idea of a viral zombie. I like the idea of a fast zombie that's still alive.
That's the best thing they have.
I like the chimpanzee, the angle of the activists like letting them free and actually they just fucking tired of humanity. That's a very interesting. There's a lot of shit that just worked in a basic level with this movie, and I think they just took some choices which you want to do as a creator. That I didn't love all the way through, which is fine. It felt a little longer than it actually was.
I love the idea of this movie.
Yeah, just wasn't executed as well.
It's just like what you're saying that it was long. It felt long, and it's only how long?
It's maybe like 2 hours or something like that. Yeah,
it's not a long movie.
Yeah,
but
it's like 2 hours.
It ends up it's like so
less than 2.
It feels like different movies throughout the whole film. So
one boring one fucking cool one. Honestly.
But I'm giving it a 3. I'm giving it actually, you know what? 3's too low. 3. A 3's too low. I think a 3's too low. You know what? I'm giving it a 3.
It's on record though. Oh yeah, now you're like, well, it's on record. I might as well go with my first thought.
No, it's getting a 3 out of 10. It's very weak. Not as bad as Freddy Krueger, but it is like you can watch a better zombie movie. Like you should watch it. Like it doesn't add anything new, like at all. Like if you want to watch a dude wake up out of a hospital, out of a coma, read The Walking Dead or watch the first season of The Walking Dead, and you'll be like, oh, that was better than this.
Yeah, no, that's a good actually segue. Is that you could watch a better zombie movie? This was almost like a movie made by people who make great movies that are not zombie movies that just made a zombie movie. I think Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are fantastic. They're so good at both writing and directing. I love Slumdog Millionaire. I love a million things that both of them have done. But this movie, it's just not my favorite, which is cool. I like 28 Days Later though, so you can't get one without the other. I like a lot of things about it, the acting, all that shit, but in general, didn't fucking love it, and I'm happy to shit on it. We were itching to shit on it just because it's fun to shit on stuff. I give it for the sake of that, I give it a fucking 1.9.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
And I'm talking like I'm the representative of like horror movies, and I'm not.
You are. Well, we both have different lanes.
But that's just how I'm gonna speak.
That's how we're doing it. Yeah. All right, bro. Well, this is saying goodbye. We not have a send off yet, so good night, motherfucker.
Have a good night. This is I've Seen Footage.